Hello and welcome back to another Daily Defiant. I'm Jack, and today we're bringing you Vitalik's top 5 most exciting developments in the Ethereum ecosystem. Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin stressed the importance of decentralization in crypto's future, given the major centralized entities like 3AC, Terra, FTX and BlockFi, which collapsed this year. Now, without further ado, how has Vitalik's perspective shifted? What are the developments that excite him? And what promises do they hold in store for the DeFi landscape? Thank you to our sponsor Oasis app for making this video possible. More on them later. Vitalik is a firm believer that we've come leaps and bounds in terms of exploring what he calls the undiscovered unknowns of blockchain's potential. According to Vitalik, now that we're beyond the thought experiments and the abstract considerations of what blockchain might be able to do, we can better separate the underperforming applications from the applications which are meeting people's real needs. He begins by analyzing the state of money, which he calls the first and still most important app. He makes 2 main points about adoption here. Since the merge, transactions are included faster, the chain is more stable, and scaling technologies such as optimistic rollups and ZK rollups are aiding this process. Secondly, from a security standpoint, social recovery and multi-sig wallets are becoming way more practical. Vitalik also reminds us at this point that the FTX collapse served as a poignant reminder that even the most trustworthy seeming centralized exchanges may not be so trustworthy after all. Cryptocurrency in wealthy countries. He points out that cryptocurrency has significant value because cryptocurrency is the only thing currently being developed that can realistically combine the benefits of digitalization with cash-like respect for personal privacy. And how do we overcome the volatility aspect, which many businesses consider a barrier to wider adoption? He says stablecoins. But before we continue with stablecoins, a quick word from Oasis, who made this video possible. As the most trusted entry point to make a protocol, Oasis.app aims to do the same for DeFi. Now on Oasis.app, you can do more than just borrow DAI. Use Multiply to change exposure to your collateral, and earn to increase your staked ETH yield by up to 3x. Stay relaxed while Vault automations protect your positions and maximize your returns. Stablecoins, Vitalik says, are already concretely useful for millions of people today, and he divides stablecoin design into 3 categories. First, we have centralized stablecoins like USDC, USDT, and BUSD. Secondly, DAO-governed real-world asset-backed stablecoins like DAI. And finally, we have governance-minimized crypto-backed stablecoins like LUSD and RAI. Now, he lists the pros and cons of each category before pointing out that despite the shortcomings of each, a happy medium could be found by further iterating the technology to create DAO-governed and real-world asset-backed stablecoins. But what about decentralized finance? Well, Vitalik has long been a proponent of keeping it simple, and he believes that despite its honorable but limited beginnings, over time, DeFi morphed into what he calls an overcapitalized monster, relying on unsustainable forms of yield farming. Vitalik also points out what's ahead for DeFi. He says that the space is now settling down into a stable medium, improving security and refocusing on the applications that are particularly valuable to the users. Building on his previous point about money, he says that decentralized stablecoins are, and likely will be, the most important DeFi product looking forward. And before we continue exploring the promising future of DeFi, I have a small favor to ask of you. If you find any value in the knowledge we share with you, or you'd like the message of DeFi to reach more people, drop a like, subscribe, and let us know what type of knowledge you're most interested in, so we can focus our efforts around what the community's really looking for. The third item on Buterin's excitement list is the identity ecosystem, including Ethereum Name Service, or ENS, and POH. Now, these services allow users to have custom domain names in place of their regular crypto addresses. Think of all the crypto Twitter influencers whose handles end in .eth. But it's not all rose-tinted glasses, and he does say that the big future challenge for this ecosystem is privacy. The status quo involves putting large amounts of information on-chain, which is something that's fine until it's not, and eventually will become unpalatable, if not outright risky, to more and more people. And that brings us to the fourth DeFi element that Buterin identifies, which is decentralized autonomous organizations, or DAOs. From a high level, Vitalik's excited about efficiency, interoperability, and what he calls fancy new governance mechanisms, which can, in his words, serve to make the space safer and more attractive to funders. Vitalik says that the future of DAOs is exciting because if users can be given confidence that these projects will be around and thriving in 5 years, funders will move capital into the projects now in the hopes of being rewarded later. Last but not least, fifth place on Vitalik's list is hybrid protocols, which are applications that are not entirely on-chain, but still use blockchain for certain aspects of their operations. He notes the potential for merging Ethereum technology with off-chain processes such as voting. Once again, he believes the technology can help to preserve privacy while ensuring votes are included independently of the voting system itself. So how do we get there? Well, Vitalik's excited about the future of DeFi because he believes that we've learned important lessons about trusting centralized exchanges. Yet, despite the clarity we have about fundamental limits of the blockchain space, Vitalik also admits there are things we can't predict, and he accepts that we don't know exactly what the needs of 2032 will demand. So for now, Buterin's sticking to his guns about prioritizing only the projects with long-term value propositions instead of focusing on short-term profit. Thank you once again for tuning into the Daily Defiant, and we'll see you again tomorrow.